afternoon, guys. Today on mathematics we are going to look at the gradient of the parallel lines. Last time we looked at the gradient of a straight line. So when we talk about gradient of parallel lines, we are talking about lines like this. So when we have lines like this, these are called the parallel lines. So under the gradient of parallel lines, for example, if we have a line like this which is drawn, a transverse line, so there is an angle which is formed there and there is an angle which is formed there. So when we talk about the angle here, it means we have theta, and there we have theta there. So these two angles are equal because these are alternate angles. So the relationship to the gradient is that if these two angles are equal, then it means the gradient of this line, which is m1, is equal to the gradient of this line, which is m2. So we are saying under parallel lines, the gradient m1 is equal to the gradient of m2. So the gradient of these two lines are equal because these are parallel lines. No matter how we extend them, these two lines cannot meet. That is the relationship between the angle and the gradient. So we'll look at an example. So for example, if we have been given to say if A is equal to 2, 3 and B is equal to 5, 7, then C is equal to 0, -1 and D is equal to 3, -5. So that A, B, C, and A, B, C, D, and A, D are parallel lines. For example, if you have a question like this, we are told to say if A is equal to this, B is equal to that, and C and D, then show that A, B, C, D, and AD are parallel lines. So we are going to find the gradient of, we are going to start with finding the gradient of AB. We also find the gradient of line BC. We also find the gradient of CD and the gradient of AD. Then from that we can deduce which two lines are parallel. So we'll start with the gradient AB. So the formula for the gradient is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then we have the coordinates. The coordinates, we are looking at the AB. So we have the coordinate for A and the coordinate for B. So we'll say this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we'll say the gradient of this will be 7 minus 3, then this will be 5 minus 2. We are trying to find out if line AB will be equal to one of the lines, which is maybe BC, CD, or AD. So this will be this will be 4 over 3. It means we have found the gradient. Then we'll go to line BC, which is BC is equal to, or say BC is equal to, gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this will be equal to, we'll go to the points. Now here we are going to get the points B and C. So we'll name this as x1, y1, x2, y2. So our y2 is -1. So -1 minus our y1 is 7. So -7 over our x2 is 0 minus our x1 is 5. So this will be equal to, this will be -8 over, which is -5. This will give us 8 over 5. It means this is the gradient for BC. We'll go to CD. Gradient will be equal to y minus y2, y1 over x2 minus x1. So this will be equal to, we'll get the point C and D. So this will be our y2. So it will be -5 minus our x1 is -1, which is -1 over our x2 is -3. So it will be -3 minus our x1 is 0. So this will give us, there it will be positive, which will be -5 plus 1, it will give us -4 over -3 minus 0, it will be -3. This will be 4 over 3 because we are dividing negative divided by negative, which will give us a positive. So we'll go now to AD. So AD will be equal to, we'll get the points for AD. So line AD will get this point A and these points at D. So we'll say gradient will be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal to this, since it's a point D, this is our y2 to be -5 minus there minus 3 over this with our x2, which is -3 minus our x1 is 2 over 2. This will give us, so this will be -8 over, then there it will be 5 negative. This will give us 8 over 5, which is positive because we are dividing negative divided by negative. So from this point we can try and check the gradient. The gradients which are the same are the gradients which are the lines which are parallel. So from this line we can say the lines which are parallel is line DC is parallel. This line is parallel to line BC. Line BC is parallel because the gradient is 8 over 5 and there the gradient is 8 over 5. So line BC is parallel to line AD because the gradient is what? Is the same. If we look at AB, so AB also is parallel to CD because the gradient is also the same. So parallel lines, the gradient are equal.